morning, everybody. It is currently 10:30 in the morning on a Tuesday. I was supposed to go into work today, but I'm not. I was supposed to go into work tomorrow, but I won't be. I've been having some mental, physical health concerns, and I have to put myself first. No, I'm not in a condition to take care of sick people. I have to take a couple of days off to take care of myself, and so we're at one of my favorite parks today, if you guys would like to see all the little duckies and geese. And this is just really what I needed today, honestly, just to be in a spot that relaxes me and calms me down, because even like if I go home and try to rest or lay in bed, it's not happening. So I just figured I would get up and get out and go to one of my favorite places to hang out and walk around. And with all of that in mind, I figured we would do a TikTok reaction video to some of the TikToks that I've reposted or liked on my account. It is nursing related, but I'm hoping that it'll lighten my mood a little bit. I am planning on doing a video in the future about my whole nursing experience so far, and I feel like this video will be a segue into that. I'm almost at my 1 year mark, so I have a lot that I want to cover. So let's get started on the first video.
So I'm maintenance man / everything else.
So first off, shout out to Queso, W Queso. I love watching his videos. But anyways, yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say about that. I had made a post on my Instagram about something that I was kind of like making a statement about. And part of that statement was that I don't think it's emphasized enough, especially not in nursing school, that when you're a nurse, you're expected to know like your job along with everybody else's. And that is so exhausting. Part of the reason why we became nurses is that we want to be proficient in what we do. We want to be able to extend ourselves in as many directions as we can. And now it's like an expectation. Now it's like people expect those things from you. So, true, W Queso. Next one.
For 2 months, she'll barely move, conserving all her energy.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I've been through stages of this throughout my progression into this career. It definitely depends on the amount of days that you're working and the kind of workloads that you've had on your unit at the time. I work on a surgical PCU, so the workloads can be kind of insane. For me, in the very beginning, it wasn't really that hard because you're still orienting and people are still keeping a pretty close eye on you, and you know they're on standby just to make sure you don't need anything. But as you become more autonomous, people trust you a little bit more to get things done and to recognize when certain interventions need to take place. And they know, for me anyway, like I'm not afraid to ask for help. Like if I need help, I'm gonna ask for it. So if I don't need help, like I'm doing great, I'm having a manageable day. People just start to pick up on that and know that they don't need to babysit you so much. Some days are more manageable than others, and when I go home, especially when I know that I'm going to be working 3 12s in a row, there's really no time, even if you wanted to get up and do anything, because you literally have to be back to work in hours. And so as far as recovery goes, after I work my 3 days a week, like don't bother me for at least 24 hours, because I don't plan on and don't have the intention of getting anything done. Sorry, not sorry. And I mean, you have to think of it this way, right? It doesn't seem like a lot. Oh, you're only working like 3 days in a row. Well, those 3 days in a row are 12 hours. So you're working your 36 to 40 hours within a 3-day time period. Me personally, I drive a little over a half hour to get to and from work every day. People aren't always on time to be there for you to give them report. Some days are really long. You stay back charting. Some people have really complicated days and or past medical histories that take a little bit longer during handoff to communicate. Like, there's all these things that go into it. So I'm not always like, just you're there at 7 in the morning and then you leave at 7:30 at night. Like, I'm getting up at 5:40 to leave at 6, to be there at 6:53 so that I can clock in 7 minutes before, because that's the policy. And, you know, whenever you leave, and you're not always going to have an ideal day. And on top of the physicality of running around like a chicken with your head cut off, which is usually the case, there's the mental work of it, whether it's, you know, talking to different members of the healthcare team about the patient, talking to the patient themselves, talking to the patient's family, trying to decide on how you're going to organize your day, time management, prioritization. Things change in the hospital all the time. You get interrupted constantly. Some people need a lot of emotional support depending on, you know, the type of person they are and what they're going through. So all of that tied up into 36 to 40 hours all in 3 days, I don't think rotting in bed afterwards is unreasonable at all. Next video. You know, this is pretty common, and it's just funny because when you do something repetitively and routinely every day that at one point doesn't get to be as big of a deal as it was maybe when you first started doing it, everybody else in their eyes, especially when they're not in healthcare, is new to this, or it's like their family member is quote unquote on the line. It's just funny to me because in the big picture of it all, like, it's literally just like some water going into a vein, and it's really just to make sure that the tubing itself is just clean and it still works, because sometimes you'll get a report and they'll be like, oh, they have 3 IVs or 2 IVs and a PICC line, everything flushes great, and then you get in there and you're like, so that was a lie. But yeah, that's more so funny to me. I don't get really annoyed with that because I completely understand the concern. Somebody's already in the hospital not doing too well. It's like every little thing counts kind of thing. I get it. It's more so just for S's and G's, you know? And I'll tell you what, being very sweet and kind and saying what you're doing before you're going to do it goes a long way for not only the patients, but for the family members who can be a little bit anxious about not only being in the hospital, but about the treatment that they're getting and the care that they're getting, because everything is so foreign. It's nice for them to know that they have somebody there that wants them to be a part of it and is, you know, generous about walking them through it. You're offering information without them having to ask, and that can put them at a lot more ease. On to the next one. I mean, with this one, it's obviously an exaggeration. I just thought it was funny. There are instances in the hospital where things like that do happen coincidentally, and it's not to the patient's fault, of course. Stuff can hit the fan real quick, and in every aspect of, you know, what could happen. And so this was more just like a hee-hee, ha-ha video. It's very exaggerated, like I said, and obviously we don't wish harm to our patients. But if you're a nurse, you know what it's like to have something like that happen to you, and your nurse buddy in like the alcove over has been not only taking care of their patients, but kind of helping you out with yours when you're busy, or your charge nurse is helping you out with your patients when you get a little bit busy. They just kind of already know what the situation is, and something like that happens and you're like, you know what, like, what are the odds kind of thing. And in the hospital, the odds are usually pretty good. On to the next one. And it really is that serious. I don't know if it's just my unit. My unit is particularly busy in that sense, but I can honestly say that that's usually how my day goes. However, I will preface that a lot of the people that I work with do tell me, like, you get like the crappiest assignments. You are always in the trenches when you're here. I don't know what that's all about, but that is usually what you can expect as a typical day on the unit that I work at. It is so unbelievably hectic and chaotic, and at times it is very rewarding. Other times, you know, I'm just really lucky that I have a very supportive group of peers that I work with that are very knowledgeable, and like I said, I plan on making a video a little bit later that goes more into depth about my experience with my whole 1 year, first year as a new grad nurse on a surgical PCU unit. And so I guess this conversation is TBD. Next video.
Hello?
What's up?
I'm cleaning. Like I'm always doing.
What do you got?
Yup. C. diff from antibiotics, incontinence, people getting very, very strong pain medications, get constipated, they start to need enemas, laxatives. And here's the thing, I am not opposed to cleaning up bodily fluids. Like, I accepted this job well aware that that might be something that I would have to do, but those kinds of things are so tasky. I would expect that an assignment would be considered for reduction as far as acuity and nurse to patient ratios for something like that, because that takes up a lot of time. And for my floor in particular, we should have 4 techs at all times. 1 tech takes 8 rooms, and you know, if you're staffed enough, you might not have to be the one to be in there seven times within your shift. The hospital is a business, and sometimes we're short-staffed. This kind of organization is one where you can't really make too many screw-ups, and me personally, I wouldn't want to lay in my own fecal matter or urine for hours on end and hear, well, I was just busy. So, you know, whatever way that we make it work, we try to and have to make it work. And I would just hope that that day you have the proper staff and the proper assignment to be able to support that person in the way they need, so that you can still do what you need to do and take care of your other patients and not have to worry about that one patient that is just crapping themselves silly. Next one.
You just, all right, bitch, you pushing it. Come on now.
I mean, unfortunately, I feel like that's just the nature of day shift. Night shift, you don't have as many resources. Whenever I work my evening shifts, which are 3 to 11, a lot of times I get told to defer to night team. Usually you get there in the morning and it's like everything at once. There are exceptions, like I said, sometimes you just don't have the resources, sometimes to the fault of the hospital. And also in the patient's defense, I completely understand not waking the patient up to do something that could just be done in the morning when their breakfast is going to be there and their family might be visiting and all their medications are going to be due anyway. So why wake them up for something silly? Just wait till day team comes in, it'll get done. Of course, as long as it's not urgent. My only gripe in relation to that is when all those orders get put in, right, and it's one thing after another and your morning's already busy, and sometimes, like I said, it just can't be helped. But the fact of the matter is your morning is already busy. All this stuff gets put in, you're expected to get to this right away, and that's another aspect of nursing that they didn't really emphasize enough for me in nursing school, is that everybody's going to want you to do something because it's their priority, but you have to manage everybody else's priorities. Everything can't be a priority, so you have to prioritize your own priorities based off of everybody else's priorities. And when the orders just keep coming in and I'm not able to cluster care, that's when I really start throwing a fit. Because truly, sometimes the expectations are crazy. And when I start receiving messages like, why hasn't this been done yet? Why hasn't this been done yet? And it's a busy morning, my workload's heavy, we're short on techs, some of the things that need to be done aren't even something that techs can do, and you know, it's really not a priority based off of other things that I have to do. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this is what I signed up for. On to the next one.
Hey Phil, what you need?
Sure, I kind of slid down. Can you scooch me up?
Yeah, of course, you bet. 1 sec.
Hi, this isn't what he ordered for lunch. He asked for green beans.
Oh, okay, yeah, just call him back and tell him what you need.
How do you use this phone?
Didn't you order it the first time?
Yeah, but it was just kind of complicated.
Okay.
Can you just call it in for us, please?
No, you got it. Just use the phone and tell him what you want, okay? All right, we're gonna start an IV and get some blood work, okay?
All right, well, I am terrified of needles. Don't you have some numbing cream?
Well, we usually only use that for really young children.
I understand, but I just don't really like getting poked, and I'm afraid it's gonna hurt.
Can you do it without it?
I can't do it. No, I need it.
Okay, give me a minute, I'll be back. Okay, all right, you got your tray there with your water, you got your call button. Do you want your feet up?
Well, I think I need to get to the commode now.
Okay, all right.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah?
Can I get like a fresh warm blanket here?
Okay, didn't I just get you guys one?
Well, it was lukewarm. We think you took it from the top of the warmer, and we want one of the ones on the bottom.
Okay, I'll grab you another one. Hey, Kyle, what you need this time?
Yeah, my back hurts. Can I get a new
A
bed?
different bed?
Yeah, just like a better bed.
No, we don't have different beds. That's all we got.
Well, I saw that other guy had like a really nice big one.
Okay, that's a very special bed. That guy's a quadriplegic. You're here for pancreatitis.
Well, that doesn't mean I don't deserve to be comfortable in a better bed.
No. Those beds are few and far between. I'm sorry, but that's the bed you're gonna have to live with, okay?
No, come on, man.
I know,
please.
I'm sorry.
This is kind of what I am referring to when I talk about you being pulled every which way as a nurse, needing to know everybody's job, having little tasks interrupt you throughout the day, or like doing all this work just to have like all of your efforts be undone by some minuscule little thing. And it's not the idea that, you know, I don't want to do any of these things as individual tasks. You really cannot plan your day out. You can just do the best that you can do to do right by people, stay in a good mood so that everybody else is in a good mood. And sometimes all you can do is just say, at least my patient didn't die. I'm sorry if that's morbid, but that is the reality of the situation. On to the next one.
Hi, Cindy. Are you ready for a report?
I've been ready.
Okay. This is Herbert Wilson. He's 78.
Is he a male or a female?
You said it yourself. He's a he. He is a full code and is here for rectal pain.
Why does he have rectal pain?
Well, if you let me get there, Cindy, then we can discuss it. So anyways, he has a history of a CVA.
Where was it? The CVA.
Cindy, I didn't write that down because I didn't think it was pertinent to this admission.
All right, I'll figure it out myself.
Good. The chart's right there, hon. So he's here because he ran out of lube.
Well, what is his sexual orientation?
Well, Cindy, I didn't ask him because that didn't really seem pertinent to this admission either. And, you know, I don't think that we should just be asking our patients that out of the blue. But he does have a wife, if that helps.
Well, is he sexually active?
Girl, I don't know. You can go in there and ask him yourself.
I just can't believe you didn't ask these questions.
What am I supposed to do? Interrogate him?
Yeah, that's our job.
No, it's not our job.
I feel like people always talk a lot about the type A nurses versus the type B nurses. And I feel like you can tell which one's which, especially when you give/get report. And honestly, it is the worst when you work on a unit that's consistently understaffed, so you get a lot of people that are coming from different units during shift change, so they still have to give a report before they come to you. Don't really know your patient population well and what they're here for and what they're here for entails task-wise throughout the night. And so they ask a lot of questions, which is totally fine, but I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I have questioned how certain nurses obtained their license. Because the questions you are asking me are either irrelevant or don't make any sense. Or sometimes the nurses are just there to like gossip about the patient. Next video.
Connor.
I can hear just fine.
Okay.
Speak.
I feel like you're upset with me.
I am very upset with you.
I saw this TikTok on the same day that particular situation happened to me. That's one of those situations where the charge nurse should have accounted for that, and hopefully you have an assignment that can accommodate an admission right at shift change. And maybe hopefully you had a nurse that was really kind and, you know, was told, hey, so-and-so is going to get your assignment. I don't know when they're going to send them over. They haven't sent a report yet, da-da-da. But they still look up the patient and start filling out what they can on the handoff sheet and trying to get the room ready as long as it's clean and ready to go, and EVS has already came in there and did their thing. And that's really all that you can hope for. I honestly think it is super dangerous to do this because I feel like in the chaoticness of shift change and knowing that when you first come in, you're going to have to do all of your assessments, pass all of your medications, and still make it to all of these huddles and meetings with the interdisciplinary teams, you know, it's just not safe. You really need to make sure that there's nothing that you're missing that's really pertinent to why they're on your floor. And unfortunately, you can't always rely on reports that you have been given from the last nurse. It is so important to do all of your own assessments and just take the previous report that you received with a grain of salt. And as I make this video, I just want to let you guys all know that I am in a season where, and like I said, I will talk about this further, but I am in a season in my career where I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit bitter. My intent for this video is not to discourage anybody from going into nursing or to talk bad about nursing or to talk bad about, you know, patients in the hospital who are obviously, you know, very sick and vulnerable. But my views have changed a lot since I have started this new career. Like, for myself personally, today, I was supposed to work today and I was supposed to work tomorrow, called off. My shifts for the last week have been absolutely insane. I, along with other nurses on the unit, have had to have my charge nurse pass my medications on every single one of my rooms for me at one point in the day. And you know, I really wasn't able to provide patient care like I would like to provide patient care or like I would prefer to provide patient care. And at this point, I'm just totally burnt out. I don't think that my mental and physical state is adequate enough to come back to work until Friday. And it's so hypocritical, I think, and it's not just me who's picking up on this, but older seasoned nurses who have been doing this for a very long time have said that, you know, nursing has changed a lot. And I don't feel like I can come into work and confidently take care of very sick people without taking care of myself first. And, you know, I don't care what people say, nursing is a different kind of work. I don't care what you do for a living. Nursing is not like any other profession. And you will never truly know what it's like until you are in that profession. And I've come to a point in my life where, you know, I have worked my way up in pretty much all of my jobs that I've had as much as I could and as much as I have allowed. I'm a hard worker, I'm ambitious, I want to do right by not only my employer but by the people that I service, because let's be real, nursing is customer service. Everything is customer service no matter how you look at it. And to me, at this point currently and throughout the rest of my life, my job is just a job. You know, I'm going to do well at it, provide value to whatever company or organization that I work for. But if the job that I'm currently at is not allowing me to enjoy my time outside of work for all the hard work that I do when I'm at work, then it's not worth it. And I know some of you guys are probably thinking, you know, nursing is, like I said, not like every other job. It's a very selfless job. You have to, you know, take a lot of yourself and put it into the job. But I would think with that in mind, with that job being such a selfless job, that if you can't even enjoy being selfish even a little bit outside of that job, then all you're doing is being selfless all day and giving and giving and giving. You're gonna get burnt out, which is what I did. I got burnt out. And now that has forced me to call off 2 days that I was scheduled to work. And I don't feel guilty about it a single bit. I am not going to work all of my life to not be able to at some point enjoy my life outside of work. That is simply non-negotiable. We get so much exposure to things that every other day people don't get. And I think that this information and these concepts need to be emphasized more within the general public, because the truth is no matter what specialty of nursing that you work in, everybody has a hard job. And nurses definitely do not get paid enough. And this is just the reality of my situation. I can't speak for everybody. And again, I will make a video on this going more in depth. That is it for this video. If you liked this kind of content, leave a like, leave a comment if this resonates with you at all. I appreciate you guys for all of your love and support and going through this season of things with me. I know that some of my videos might be a little bit hard to watch because there's some sad topics being brought up during them, but you know, life isn't all just sunshine and rainbows. And I think once we get over the awkwardness of not wanting to talk about these things, you know, it helps us enjoy those happy moments a little bit more. And it also teaches us to be stronger when we are going through those really rocky seasons that seem really impossible to go through. but talking about these things build up calluses, and like I said, it just makes the good moments better. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know when my next video will be. I can just tell you that I plan on trying to be more consistent. The ideas are coming to me here and there. It's just really having the time and the energy to sit down and make it and edit it and all the things. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, for those of you who keep coming back, and to anybody new watching, hopefully you like my content. I would so appreciate it if you gave this video some love, spread it around, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!